Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I would like to speak to you about the 6 skills for a wife to save her marriage. So today I'm not going to speak to the men, not going to speak to the husbands, but especially to the wives. Now, it doesn't mean that if there's some problem in a marriage that only the woman is at fault or it's the woman's fault. No, but today I want to share something with the ladies so that we are able to help our marriage and to hopefully improve our marriage. Yeah, the condition is only that you need to have the wish to save your marriage. Yeah, that you want to save your marriage. Otherwise, all these things that I'm about to share with you won't make any sense and won't help. But if you really would like to improve your marriage or save your marriage, if there's a lot of difficulties, then these 6 skills hopefully will help, I think. Yeah. Now, before I start, it's like also want to explain a little bit about, for example, marriage counseling versus these skills. They call these skills the intimacy skills, meaning skills to getting closer to your husband. Yeah. Now, in counseling, marriage counseling, they usually focus on the other person. So, in case of the wives, what the husband is doing wrong, or what he's thinking, what he wants, and that takes actually the focus away from your own actions, and your thoughts and your desires. And the result is that there's a lot of criticism and blame and shame and things like that. They focus on the problem, and focus on to harsh it out on each other. And if you're force your husband to go to counseling, then it's like a form of controlling him. Yeah, that's also not helping. And you have maybe the attitude of like, if he only would change, then I finally could be happy. Yeah. Instead, the intimacy skills, the skills to getting closer to your husband, is focus on how you feel and what you want instead of trying to control others. Yeah. So it's from a different perspective. It's from our own perspective, because we can only control ourselves. We cannot control anyone else. Yeah. So by focusing on yourself and what you can control, then you can actually make changes within yourself, and then that will also hopefully giving changes in your marriage, because you cannot make your husband do anything. Yeah, you can only control yourself. And actually, in general, husbands really want to please you. They want to please their wife, but they might not know how, or they might feel disrespected, or when they are unsuccessful, they feel unsuccessful when he tries to please you, and then he might stop because of that. Yeah, but using these 6 skills, then you learn how to express your desires, your wishes, in a way, and then in a way that he will want to do everything he can, to make you happy. And so we work on ourselves. Yeah, you work on yourselves, how you act, how you react. It's all about self-improvement. Yeah, so that's what this is about. So the first skill is actually self-care. Self-care, making yourself happy. Now, that's in Islam is not the goal in itself to make yourself happy, but I will explain a little bit, because some people they think that in getting married, they want to get married so that the spouse can make them happy. Yeah, but that doesn't work like that. Yeah, you have to fix yourself first. He cannot make you happy. Yeah, if you're yourself not in a good place. And so there is actually a direct link between self-care and the level of tolerance for your husband. Yeah, in a relationship you need patience and compassion. But if you are tired and cranky and things like that, then your relationship has little chance for thriving. Like to be successful. So the first thing is like for the self-care, making yourself a joyous and cheerful person, pleasable person. Yeah, like think about yourself. Like how fun are you to be around with? How fun are you for your husband? Are you a cheerful person, or are you always like sad and complaining and things like that? So we should stop relying on our husband to make ourselves happy. And when you learn to take care of yourself, that removes also the pressure from your husband. Yeah, so it's the first step to a peaceful home. You have to have your own cup, your own full cup. Yeah, and then only you can pour it outwards towards other people, right? And it's also because it's also impossible for your husband to fulfill the role of confidant, of partner, of breadwinner, of therapist, and your best friend all simultaneously. Yeah, that's too overwhelming for anyone. Yeah, so how that works about self-care is it's very simple. It's not like it's like just doing 3 things every day that gives you joy, and it can be very simple things. Just enjoying your coffee or your tea, you know, reading a book, or reading a chapter or a book, reading a few pages, reading Quran, walking, meeting your friends. Just simple things that give you joy. When you do 3 of those things every day, then you won't be so grumpy. Yeah, so you will create new habits, and it will make you a more cheerful, joyous person. Yeah, and related to that also is that that you express wishes towards your husband. You express certain wishes that you have instead of complaining. Yeah, so instead of like, I'm so sick of this and this and this and that, you say like, I would love to such and such and such. Yeah, so that's a different attitude, right? A different approach. That you tell you tell your husband what you would like to do instead of like, I'm so sick of something else. So you're seeking actually sympathy instead of being negative and whining and things like that. So in this case, that is the first step for you to make to be a more joyous person, so that you are more fun to be around with, and you don't rely on anyone else to make you happy. The second skill is restore respect. In the previous video, I already talked a little bit about this respect, because in the eyes of a man, this is very important. Now, of course, the woman also needs to be respected, right? That's logical. But in this skill, I only specifically speak to the ladies, right? So all people need respect, yeah. But for the husband, it's like oxygen, yeah. And so we need to find out what they consider respectful, yeah. That might be very different from our perspective, yeah. So if the respect is given to him, then he adores his spouse more. So he will adore you more. Yeah? So the thing is, if you tell your husband how to drive, what to wear, remember to charge his phone, don't you think this and this should be done, and correcting him and interrupting him and things like that, to him it's like an attack. You know that you're constantly attacking your husband, yeah, and it pushes him actually away from intimacy, from like being close to you. No matter how well you meant, because you have maybe the best intentions, you want to help him, you know, how to drive, what to wear and things like that to him, but to him it's more like attack, yeah, an attack. And actually in the language of a lady, yeah, from the woman's perspective, being helpful, yeah, we're always trying to be helpful in that's in the wife language, yeah. In the husband language, it actually means something else. In the husband language, it means controlling. You're trying to be controlling about everything, being in control. So we need to listen more to his wants and his needs and his fears to make him feel respected, yeah, instead of you wanting to be right and asserting your opinions all the time. So if he says something, then maybe you can just say like, give some suggestion to do something, and then you say, oh, whatever you think is best, you know. So you're approaching it like that, to give him that you trust his opinion, you trust his judgment, yeah, and his decisions, and that's truly empowering, yeah. You're letting go of that control, that you know everything and you know how everything should go, and it indicates some trust in his decision making, yeah, his decision making ability. So he will step up to that plate, yeah. And so for us, it's best not to criticize our husband so much, yeah. And even if you think he deserves it, yeah, we not always need to express that feeling, yeah. And we don't always have to voice it out, yeah. If you don't agree, you can just say, I hear you, yeah. So meaning like you hear what he's saying without giving your opinion all the time. Yeah. And if you show he's incapable, you know, he will feel also inadequate. Yeah. That you but if you value his worth, that you trust his opinion and his decision making, he will perform better in every area. So if he asks you, where do you want to eat? Yeah, where do you want to eat? Which restaurant do you want to go? Then you can just say like, why don't you surprise me? Yeah, then he will decide, right? If it doesn't matter to you where you want to go. But on the other hand, it does not mean that you cannot have any opinions. Of course, if your opinion is truly asked, you can answer him and tell him. But the thing is, we have to be more wise. You know, we have to pick our battles. Sometimes it's not worth it to start a fight over petty things like which restaurant to go or something, right? So we need to be more wise in that case. Okay, number 3 is giving up control. Yeah, it has to do also with this language of being helpful, right? That we women, we want to be helpful, but in the husband's language is like controlling. Yeah, so we should focus to stay in our own lane. You know, focus on where your power is about your needs and desires. Not try to control everything around you and those around you. And if you're trying to control a situation, you have to ask yourself, like, what are you afraid of? Now, is my fear really realistic? Does it matter so much? Yeah, is it worth losing closeness to your husband? Yeah, if you try to control the situation, and can you actually control the situation? Yes, many things are actually out of our control, and won't even help for us to trying to control it. So many times there's actually no need to control the situation. Yeah. So what is on our plate, what's on your plate is how you dress, what you say, your tone of voice and your attitude and everything. What's on your husband's plate, yeah, let him deal with that. Yeah? We don't have to tell him what he should wear. Yeah, he can dress how he wants to wear. So giving up this control is a kind of vulnerable. Yeah, we might feel very uncomfortable about it in the beginning, but it's actually a stepping stone for connection. Yeah, for connection with your husband. So things that, for example, if there's your husband's home office is very messy. Yeah, and you're irritated about it. It's so messy. What you might start to do is just declutter your house, you know, room by room, and then automatically, yeah, your husband start to tidy up his own office as well. Yeah, so that's something that might happen because of that. And so you have to think about what you can control, what you can contribute, and what we actually can do without forcing that on somebody else. That was number 3. Number 4. Receive. The more we are willing to receive gifts, yeah, the woman more willing to receive gifts and compliments and help, the more feminine and attractive you will be to him, and the more special treatment you will get. Yeah, receiving is like the opposite of rejection. So if you can see, if you can say to your husband like, oh, this is so thoughtful of you, yeah. Even if you are not so appreciative of whatever he gave you or something, you just say that, because if you are showing that you don't like what he's giving, or it's too much money and that's what the present he gives you or something, then they stop offering. They stop it altogether. You know. So you receive gifts or with grace and excitement and gratitude. Yeah. Say something nice about it. Yeah. Even though if it doesn't meet your standards. Yeah. It's intention that counts, right? So be thankful. Or if he offers something to help, you know, like bathing the children, yeah, bathing the children at night. Accept that offer, even though you, in your opinion, you find it that he when he bathes the children, it's not like perfect, you know. So even done imperfectly, you just receive the help, you know, receive the help and express gratitude for it. And when you are become a good receiver, yeah, then it gives more self-confidence and encourage self-confidence to the husband, And it's an encouragement to have more emotional connection with him. And that's what we want, right? We want to be more close to our husband. So we have to consider the thought that our husband actually put into certain things. Appreciate it, yeah? And then when you appreciate it more, you will see that more gifts actually will come to your way, yeah? So sometimes we have trouble to receive, and we want to do things by ourselves and in our way and things like that. But we have to give some room for the husband to step in as well. Okay, skill number 5. Strive to be vulnerable. Now this is scary, really, really scary, yeah? Everyone hates rejection, yeah? So it's very scary, but it's also empowering to be vulnerable, yeah? We should not have always our defenses up, yeah? And there is actually a direct link between intimacy, like coming closer to your husband, and vulnerability. So if you want closeness, yeah, you need to take the risk to admit that you're lonely, for example, or that you're embarrassed, or that you're hurt, or any of those feelings, yeah? And it's not a weakness to express your feelings. No, it actually takes a lot of strength, yeah? So when you are vulnerable, yeah, you don't care about being right, yeah? You're just expressing your feelings. So how we can do that is changing our complaints into a wish, because usually we complain a lot, right? And now we have to change our wordings a little bit into a wish. So the first one is like admitting that you are hurt instead of defending, yeah? So examples of that, for like, instead of you saying, oh, you're never home, now you say, I miss you, I feel lonely, and things like that. And it's because of he's never home. That's why you feel lonely, or you miss your husband, right? Like you miss like the weekends together, or the holidays together. And instead of saying, I'm doing everything in this house, I'm doing it all. Instead of that, you can express, I can do this. You know, I don't find the time to do this. Or I need help. Whoa, that's very vulnerable also. I need help with this. And then your husband is willing to step in actually, yeah? But when you do it all yourself and you don't ask help, how are you even supposed to know that you need help, yeah? Many women, they think that the husband automatically knows that you need help, but might not be the case, you know? He might not realize it so much, because you're doing everything, you have everything under control, you're doing everything yourself, yeah? So he might not realize it. And instead of also trying to figure out everything yourself, ask for advice, yeah? When you're not sure, just ask for advice. Sometimes you do get hurt by something your husband does or something your husband say, and instead of like getting a defensive response, you can just say, ouch. That's like the magic word, ouch. That expresses, it indicates a certain hurt, but without like attacking him, or without a defensive response, just say ouch. Yeah, that's a sign of hurt. It's also the case that blaming other people, that's a kind of easier. Yeah, you make it about them. Yeah, about what they are doing wrong and everything, and it feels but it feels actually more safe to do things for yourself, yeah? And not admit that you actually need help. Yeah, because then that's an act of vulnerability to say I need help. I cannot do it by myself, right? And your husband actually wants to help you, so just let him. Yeah, let him help you, and not try to blame anyone else. So if you have any, instead of having complaints like, oh, I'm upset, there's no way you can please me and things like that. No, express your wish. Yeah, because if you feel that imagination, yeah, he will light up. He will come to step up to the plate. And this will help you a lot, yeah? Okay, so now we go to the last one, number 6. This is all about gratitude. Yeah, that we have to refocus our view on with gratitude. And gratitude is like a very powerful thing, yeah? It turns an ordinary meal into a feast, for example, yeah, or average relationship into a lifelong romance, or an ordinary husband into your hero. Yeah, so we all have trouble to remember to be grateful. Yeah, you say sometimes things. Oh, I'm doing much more things than he does, and he never thanks me for it, right? But if we can be thankful to our husband, yeah, that will help a lot. Yeah, so we get so caught up in our problems that we forget to thank others sometimes. Yeah, and even if the husband does his job, his chores, yeah, something expected, right, that you always expect him to do, and he does his normal things, yeah, still thank him. Yeah, you have to express it. Why? Because it inspires him to do more. Yeah, and that's what you actually want. Yeah, and so you're not looking at what, even if he doesn't say thank you, you give the example, and then maybe that he will follow up that with more. So write 3 things down, yeah, to be thankful for about your spouse, yeah, and express it. So because you cannot have the feeling of gratefulness and resentfulness at the same time. Yeah, when you are grateful, you are not resentful. So getting this thankful mindset, yeah, that makes us also a more pleasant person to be around with. Yeah, so it has to do with looking at the positive sides, right? Don't focus on the negative things, but looking on the positives, and that will help your relationship and strengthen it more. So with these are the 6 skills, and with these 6 skills you actually can see that and one spouse actually can single-handedly spark positive change, yeah, in any relationship. And the intimate and passionate and peaceful relationship is not about luck. Yeah, it's actually about a matter of skills and good habits. Yeah, so with these tools, with these 6 skills, it takes time and practice. Yeah, not from one day to another. It will all your problems will solve and all your marriage will always be happy. But it can have everlasting and long-lasting effects on your marriage. Yeah. Because in unhealthy marriages, you see often that people just have a lot of self-focus. They only focus on themselves, on how their own needs are not being met, for example, and then it turns into resentment, and then at a certain moment they cannot stand each other anymore. But with this, you focus on what you on change, on like how to improve yourself. Yeah, and so it's a different perspective, and it's easy. Yeah, it's really easy. We started with doing 3 things for your pleasure, for your to be cheerful. Don't trying to control people you cannot control. Receiving gifts and help graciously. Showing respect for your husband. Expressing gratitude, and then risking to be vulnerable. Yeah, because that's actually more attractive. And with these skills, if you try to practice them, that will help your marriage tremendously. Now, I got these 6 skills actually from a book which is called The Empowered Wife from Laura Doyle. She is a bestseller author from the US. And she has also like a podcast, like with many episodes, more than 140, I think. And she has also a support community with wives who want to improve their marriages and things like that. So, when you are part of that community, it will all help to improve your marriage, inshallah. So this is what I would like to share with you today, and I hope that this might help, and give it some thought and try to implement certain things and see how it improves. I would like to know in the comments if you did certain few of those skills, you practiced them, and what was the outcome for your marriage. So wishing you all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.